Okay, we're going to talk about 5.3D, which is multiplying decimals by decimals. Okay, this first problem we're going to look at less than 1. So here we've been using these kind of hundred square to represent less than 1. So this 100 square here, I'm going to go ahead and take this down. This represents my whole thing. However, if I am looking for less than 1 whole, I'm just going to use this. So I am going to solve an equation that is 4/10 times 5/10. Now back to representing our decimals. Our first decimal, we're going to pretend this is literally like 40 cents. Okay, so out of 10, 100, I have 40 squares. Okay, so this becomes our whole thing. Okay, we're so used to looking at whole, but this 4/10 here, that's my whole thing. That's all I have. You can think of it as 40 cents. Okay, out of $100, I have 100 cents. This is 40 cents or 4/10. Now, when you see this, what this means is I want 5/10 of this 4/10. So literally, I can chop this in half because 5/10 represents 1/2. I can write it as 5/10, and equivalent fractions also tells me that it's half. So instead of cutting this piece of paper, we're going to look for 5/10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5/10. Okay, I'm not going to fill up all this. So basically, what we're looking at here is these squares over here on the 4/10 has overlapped. Okay, so out of this 4/10, if I want to know how much is half of 4/10, these are my answers. The squares that has overlapped becomes my answers. So if I were to count these squares, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, this has 20 squares. This is still my 100 squares, okay, out of 100. Okay, so that means if I were to write this in decimal form, it is 20 hundredths. Okay, because I am saying this is my 20, and I can also drop this off. Okay, but my decimal is right there. Now let's solve it with the standard algorithm way just to make sure we have it correct. So 4/10 multiplying by 5/10, I'm going to treat it as if it's whole number. So 4 times 5 gives me 20. Okay, 5 times 0 obviously is 0. My tens place have nothing, so I'm not going to worry about that. Now, because this is decimals, we're going to count decimal places. There's 1 and there's 2. So there's 1 place, another place. I add that together. That comes down here. I'm going to start going 1 place, 2 place. So my answer is 20, 100, or 2/10. They are both correct. Okay, so that is decimals multiplying decimals less than 1. Now we're going to move over here and work with a bigger number. Okay, the bigger number this time is going to be greater than 1. We're going to go with 2 and 4/10. Okay, and I'm going to multiply that by 3/10. Okay, this is what everybody gets so confused. So my 2 and 4/10, you can think of it as I'm going to the grocery store and I'm purchasing a pound of grapes and it costs $2.40 a pound. So I've shaded here. This represents my 1 whole. This represents another whole. Okay, and this here represents my 4/10. Okay, again, I'm just going to go ahead and do this really quickly. stay. And then up here as well. And one more over here. So you can see that I am representing, you can say $2.40. Okay, this is what I have. What does the 3/10 mean? 3/10 mean I just want 30%, if you will. Okay, we write this as 30/100ths. If this whole thing is my whole, I got to divide it into 10 equal parts. Okay, 3/10. Okay, also I can write as 3/10. So that means my whole thing, I have to divide that into 10 equal parts. So there's 1 part, okay, 2 parts, 3 parts, all the way through here, 4. I'm not going to draw all of it, but we go all the way down here and we complete our whole. So if we only want to know how much is 3 pounds, I'm going to put my grapes on the scale. I only want to pay for the 3/10 of a pound. I don't want to pay for a whole pound. Okay, so I'm going to shade this in. Okay, and I have to do it horizontally. If I just keep going this way, that's just repeating equal groups. Okay, so again, I've got this one whole. I can count squares. There is 30 squares here out of 100. Another 30 squares here out of 100. And there is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there is 3 times 4 is 12 square that's covered. Now, if I just add it all up, 30 plus 30 and 12 gives us what? 60, 72. Okay, so we have 72 squares that's doubled up. Okay, and that is over 100 square. So if I were to write this in decimal form, it is 72 hundredths. And that's how much I would pay for just 3/10 of a pound, not the whole pound. If I were to add 72 hundredths 10 times, I'm going to come back and get to 2 4/10. Okay, so that's how we are going to multiply a whole number bigger than whole and portion decimal out of that whole thing. Okay, that's it.